Do you ever wonder why sometimes you set goals for yourself and you want to make a change in your life and you set out with the best intentions, you're seeing a bit of progress, but a few weeks later, a few months later, you look back and you kind of forgot about that whole thing. It didn't happen. Maybe you made a little bit of progress, but then you took a couple steps back. And that's unfortunately far too common for so many of us, myself included, guilty as charged. It's happened to me before. What I want to talk to you guys about quickly is habits. Habits. How they control you and how you can use them to your advantage. Now, yesterday I did a extended training on this topic within our VIP group for the next level members. I got a lot of great feedback from that. And while in this free training I'm not going to go as in depth, I want to give you guys the cliff notes, the most important parts, and really just to bring to your attention why it is so important that we understand how our habits are controlling us. Because if we don't understand it, then how could we ever get a grip of it? How could we ever start to change it so that when we have goals in the future, we can actually take the actions and move in the right direction? Because if we aren't aware of what's going on inside of our subconscious and our programming, then how the heck could we ever change it? And we need to change if we are to achieve those goals that we want to achieve. So quickly, in terms of the cliff notes, the basics of this, I want to give you the shortened version. Yesterday, did a long training on this with our VIP members, but I wanted to share it with you here too. The reason that it's so important is because whether you believe it or not, 95% of your day is happening on autopilot. It's happening out of habits. It's happening that way because your oldest part of your brain, which is called the reptilian brain, you've got three parts of your brain. The oldest part, the first part that came from evolution, is there to defend you, to protect you, to keep you safe. One of the ways it does that is by taking things that you do on a regular basis and it makes a habit out of it. It creates a neural pathway within your brain so that when you do it again and again, you don't have to think it through every time, because thinking actually burns a lot of calories. And so when you do something again and again, like driving your car, the first time you do it, there's a lot going on. Like, you got to figure out how to steer and change gears and accelerate and brake at the same time. It's terrifying. But once you get the hang of it, you know how to do it. You do it without even even thinking about it. You just get in the car and you drive. And you can do that because your brain has built these neural pathways to say, well, I know how to do this, so I don't have to think about it. I'm just going to do it. And that's happening in every part of your life, in every part of my life too. Because when we get up out of bed and we start our day, we go off on this path, and our brain knows what we're going to do. In fact, if you think about it, the first 30 minutes of your day is probably nearly identical every single day. And what about the rest of your day? How much stuff are you just doing on repeat, doing on autopilot? Well, 95% of your day is being managed on autopilot by the habits that you've done in the past. And when we understand that, and when we first hear that, it can be interesting. I found it terrifying. I found it to be absolutely terrifying. The fact that 95% of my day was not even under my control per se. I mean, it was me doing it, but it's just these habits that are running it on autopilot. It's just like the apps running in the background of your phone. It's just happening. So when I get to my desk in the morning, how much am I actually controlling? And I intentionally try to control as much as I can, but in truth, there's so much about my actions, my reactions, my thought patterns, and what I do. That's just like the same as I did yesterday, the same as I did last week, last month, last year. And here's the thing. If we're doing the same things as we did last week, last month, last year, then how can we expect different results? If we are doing the same thing and expecting different results, then it's kind of like what Einstein, his quote is something like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results. We need to understand that in order to achieve our goals and to get ourselves to that next level of success, we can't do the same stuff as we did last year, last month, yesterday. We have to behave and act and be somebody different. So once we recognize and understand that 95% of our day is running on autopilot, it gives us an opportunity to change that, to use this to our advantage, to create habits that serve us Because all of these habits that are happening on autopilot in the background of our brain 95% of our day, some of them are serving us and some of them are not serving us. We need to first of all be aware of which ones are which, what's helping us, what's not helping us, what thought patterns are happening in your life, the way that you work, the way that you operate your diary, the way that you operate your calendar, how busy you are. Are you always busy? Is that a good thing? Maybe it is, but that's a lie. Sometimes busyness is very attractive because the feeling of busyness is just, it makes us feel like we're working, which makes us feel like we're accomplishing, but sometimes we need to pick the right tasks and the right actions. So how can we use habits to actually make us pick the right actions and tasks and actually take us that step forward every single day, every single week, every single month, to make sure that we do hit those goals, we do the different actions, and we become that person that can have those goals, those ambitions, that level of success, that amount of money in the bank. It has to be different. And so once we recognize which habits are serving us and which ones are not serving us, well, the ones that are serving us, those ones are good, let's keep them going. The ones that are not serving us, and it could be the way that you manage your time, the way that you allow distractions to come into your day, the way that you allow somebody else requesting you to do something to take priority over something that you wanted to do today. I know I do that all the time, guilty, but I know that it's a habit of mine which I am working to break. And so the way that you break any habit, whether it's biting your fingernails or arguing with your spouse or being brash with your kids, whatever habit you want to break, the way to do it is to first of all become aware of that habit. Step number one, recognize it, understand it. Don't be too hard on yourself, because we've all got these habits and they came from our background, our childhood, our history, the stories that we told ourselves. So once we recognize it, we're actually 10 steps down the path. We've done a great job just by recognizing the habit that doesn't serve us, that we want to change. How do you change it? Well, you got to understand what happens before a habit happens every single time. Every single habit that you have in your life, good or bad, has a trigger. Every single habit has a trigger which triggers the habit. What could that be? It could be the fact that the doorbell goes and you feel a bit anxious. Now I've got to leave my desk. Doorbell, anxiety. It could be the kids making noise. Noise, anger. What is that habit that you want to break? Biting your fingernails. It could be looking at the length of your fingernails and habit. Whatever the habit is, whether it could be distractions within your work, what is that? For me, I picked up a habit where I would, before I had a task that I needed to do, my brain would say, oh, let's check Facebook, or let's go make coffee. And it was allowing distractions. It was almost looking for distractions. It was completely sabotaging me. And that was happening on autopilot. That 95% of my day, I didn't even know it. But once I saw it, I looked for the trigger. And once I got the trigger, I could interrupt it. And you interrupt it by just stopping it. When you know the habit and you know what the trigger is, you just stop it. I literally say, stop it, Warwick. And then you pattern interrupt and you carry on with your day. But you've got to stop it. Change your thoughts, focus on something else. And when you do that repetitively, you start to break down that neural pathway. That little part of your brain, that reptilian brain that built those neural pathways so that you didn't have to think about doing things differently every single time, like driving the car. Driving the car is good. That's easy. But these bad habits we want to break. The way that you break it, know the habit, know what the trigger is, stop the trigger. Or don't stop the trigger, but ignore the trigger. When the trigger happens, change your thinking. Focus on something else. And when you do that enough times, that neural pathway, which is happening in your brain, gets broken off, and eventually the habit goes away. And you need to do this for a while, and you'll still see that trigger will come, and you'll be tempted to go down that same old path of yours. The kids are noisy, you get angry. The doorbell goes, you get anxious. But if you know when the doorbell goes and you feel that anxiety coming up, you can change your mind, you can do something else. When the kids are loud, you can change your perception of it to say, maybe I should go play with them too, let's go have some fun. Whatever that is, you can interrupt it, you can change it. And this can happen with any bad habit. So whatever the habit is, can be smoking, can be drinking, arguing with your wife, whatever habit you want to break, know the trigger, break the pattern. When you do that enough times, it will go away. It won't go away completely in terms of not being in the back of your mind, and when the kids are loud, you might want to go down that path again, but if you know how to disrupt and interrupt that trigger, well, you are very far down the path to success of breaking that habit. Now, in a few minutes, I don't want to go too long here, but how can we put good habits into place? So now we know how to recognize and break old bad habits. But in order to become the person that we need to be and to do the things that we need to do to have the goals that we don't have yet, we need to behave in a different way. We need to approach our business and our life and our team and our staff and our family and our day in a different way. We have to be somebody else. We have to do something different. And we can make that happen through these habits. We can actually hack our brain. We can hack ourselves. We can do internal transformation using these habits to our advantage. Because if we know that the brain takes repetitive tasks and it forms this neural pathway so that we don't even have to think about doing stuff like driving the car, why don't we use that to our advantage? Let's hack our brain. We can do that by putting habits into ourselves, habits that serve us, habits that help us to become the person we want to become. Because we all know that we aren't the person that we want to be to have the goal that we want to have. Because if we were, let's be honest, we would already have that goal. So we're not. So we can hack ourselves by putting these habits into play, into our brain, that will make us become the person by doing the actions. So how do you create a new habit? First up, same as before, identify the habit that you want to now embed into your brain, that you want to hack yourself with. And once you know what you want to do, you've got to figure out how to start doing it on a regular basis, because only doing something on a regular basis is going to take that neural pathway and form it into your brain so that it becomes like driving the car. You do it repetitively without even having to think about it. The first time you tied your shoelace, really difficult. Now you don't even think about it because that neural pathway is there and it serves you. So the way that we can put a new habit into our brain is by doing it repetitively. And the easiest way and the best way to do that is to piggyback the new habit onto a whole old habit which already exists. So any habit that you are already doing that's hopefully serving you, and it can be something like eating breakfast, eating lunch, brushing your teeth. You find a habit that is already in your brain, and the easiest way to embed and to hack yourself with a new habit is to piggyback the new habit on top of the old habit. So for me, I wanted to put a new habit into my life, which I decided to do every single day and evening after brushing my teeth. All I needed to do was, I took a post-it note, I stuck it on the mirror where I brush my teeth, and it reminded me every single day. When I'm brushing my teeth, I think, okay, cool, I got to do this other thing. And for me, it's actually multiple different things, but the main one is an affirmation that serves me, that's going to help me to become the person I want to become. And then, if you aren't doing it this way, sometimes you say to yourself, well, I'm going to do something new every single day. I'm going to say an affirmation. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to eat healthily. A month goes by, you forgot all about it. But when you piggyback it onto a habit that already exists, and the first couple times a post-it note on the mirror or something to remind you is really going to help you out here, then what you do is you take the old habit that is already there, it already exists, like brushing your teeth, you attach a new habit onto it. So it's like the extension of brushing your teeth, like washing your mouth out. That's the extension of brushing your teeth. Now you're doing the other thing that's serving you. So for me, brush your teeth, wash my mouth out, say an affirmation into the mirror. It's helping me so much. I started doing that a few weeks ago. Now that neural pathway is formed, and I don't even have to think about it. When the toothpaste is going on, the post-it note is long gone. But for me, it's there, it's in the brain. And you could do this with anything. How you plan your day, how you work, how you look for sales, how you approach new products, how you find new suppliers, whatever it is that you want to put into your life and hack yourself with, this is how you can do it. Find an old habit, attach a new habit to it, and then just do it repetitively. And if you do it for at least 30 days, it will be inside your brain. That neural pathway would have formed, and you have a new habit, one that is serving you, one that is helping you, one that is encouraging you to do the actions that you need to do and to be the person that you need to be to have the goals, the outcomes that you so desperately want in your life. Because we know that if we carry on doing the same stuff that we've always done, how are we ever going to expect different results? What got you here will not get you there. That's a favorite quote of my coach. What got you here will not get you there. We have to do something different. We have to be somebody different to get ourselves to the next level. And when we understand that 95% of our day is being run on autopilot by these habits, then we can get past the absolute astonishment that I had of like, wow, I'm not even controlling my day. And we can start to see how we can take bad habits, get rid of them, and how we can put new habits into our brain, and we can hack ourselves, and we can actually start using that to our advantage. So when 95% of our day is running on autopilot, we know that that's serving us, that's helping us to get forward and take advancements and help us to get to that goal. And that is how you can hack your brain using habits. And I hope that you do that. So if you want to take some homework away from this, I'd like to encourage you to bring to your awareness one habit that is not serving you and break it. And on the other side of the coin is to find a habit that you would like to place into your life, work related, health related, whatever related, and hack yourself with that habit. Put it into your life. So break one old habit and do another one. And when you do that, and when you understand that process and you see it become reality, then you will be empowered to do this in all areas of your life. And I can speak from personal experience that this has helped me so much, and it can help you too. So as we look forward to, we're approaching the end of January, we had our New Year's resolutions. How many of you guys have forgotten about your New Year's resolutions already? Let's be honest here. Yeah, it happens. And why? Why was that? We had the motivation to have that resolution. In the first couple of weeks, we ate healthily. Maybe we went walking around the block, and now we've forgotten all about it. The thing is that was a resolution, that was not a habit. It was a bit of motivation because it was a new year, new year, new me. Yeah. We've heard that. The only way you're going to do something and achieve something like this is by forming a habit around it. And now you know how. So go and do it. Find a habit you want to break and break it. You now know how. Find a habit you want to put into your brain, you want to hack yourself with, that's going to serve you, and make it a habit. You now know how. So let me know in the comments beneath if this was helpful for you, and if you want me to talk more about stuff like this. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time in the next free training session. Cheers for now.